Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining. Welcome. Shout out to Katie. Shout out to Avery. Shout out to Rita. Shout out to Jonathan. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Shout out to Ari. Shout out to London. Shout out to Stefan. Shout out to Junior. Shout out to Andy. Shout out to Alexander. Is it Stefan? I'm so sorry if I mispronounced your name. Stefan? Shout out to Hannah. Thank you for showing me how to pronounce your name. Stefan. Shout out to Hannah. Write your name in the chat if you want me to shout you out. Shout out to Gordo Cortez. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Gordo Cortez. Thank you for your support. Shout out to Lillian. Shout out to Alicia or Alicia. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Ellie. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to Rayleigh. Shout out to Amy. Shout out to Ariel or Ariel. Shout out to Finn. Shout out to Rumi. Shout out to Luck. Shout out to Landon. Shout out to Ariel. Thank you for showing me how to pronounce your name. Shout out to Addie. Shout out to Abdiel. Shout out to Kanoa. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Dee. Hello everyone, welcome. Write your name in the chat if you want me to shout you out. Shout out to Grayson. Shout out to Nicole. Shout out to Zaria or Zariah. Shout out to Taylor. Shout out to Rice, or Reese, sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Albert Wesker. Shout out to Maddie. Shout out to Gabby. Shout out to Jason. Shout out to Angelo. Shout out to Mandarina. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Mandarina. Thank you for your support. Shout out to Abdiel. Shout out to Michelle. Shout out to Michael. Shout out to Xavier. Shout out to Willow. Shout out to Kathy. Shout out to Bryce. Shout out to Emily. Shout out to Rourke. Shout out to Genesis. Shout out to Quinn. Shout out to Jackson. Shout out to Charlotte. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Ariana. Shout out to Meredith. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to Milana. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Violet. Shout out to Lily. Shout out to Bella. Shout out to Irene. Shout out to Anastasia. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Andrea. Shout out to Leah. Shout out to Shakai. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Mikey. Shout out to Anna. Shout out to Alexia. Shout out to Hudson. Shout out to Tilly. Shout out to Salai or Sella. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to TJ. Shout out to Anakin. Shout out to Aqua. Shout out to Kaylee. Shout out to Nikki. Shout out to Aaron. Shout out to Ray. Shout out to Adeline. Shout out to Ava. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Jace. Shout out to Sanchez. Shout out to Owen. Shout out to Cambry. Shout out to Colton. Shout out to Omega. Shout out to Noah. Shout out to Litzy. Shout out to Kimber. Shout out to Aiden. Shout out to Valencia McKee. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Valencia McKee. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Rosa. Shout out to Adrian. Shout out to Dylan. Shout out to Cameron. Shout out to Kennedy. Shout out to Grayson. Shout out to Alexandria. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Coda. Shout out to Katie. Shout out to Alexis. Shout out to Sebastian. Shout out to Carolina. Shout out to Haven. Shout out to Mateo. Shout out to Joey. Shout out to Aubrey. Shout out to Atsiri. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to Jack. Shout out to Lila. Shout out to Mia. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to these people. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the live stream. I live stream every day around the same time as this. I hope you can support my channel by leaving a like or subscribing. I would truly appreciate it. On to the next page. Also, thank you for your patience. I know I don't write the fastest, so I appreciate you taking the time to write your name. Thank you, thank you. Shout out to, oh Mia, I'm glad I said your name correctly. Shout out to James. Thank you for your support. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Janatul. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Luciano. Shout out to Ivan. Shout out to Gabby. Shout out to Aisha. Shout out to River. Shout out to Ariane. Shout out to Mitha. Shout out to Chloe. Shout out to Jimena. Shout out to Riley. Me, I like, someone asked me if I have a favorite tea or coffee. I like iced chai lattes. Shout out to Oakland. Shout out to Jimmy, or I like milk tea boba as well. Shout out to Remy. Shout out to Sabrina. Shout out to Cooper. Shout out to Bryce. Shout out to Maya. Shout out to Jocelyn. Shout out to Nicholas. Shout out to Diego. Shout out to Samara. Shout out to Corey. Shout out to Imani. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Hayden. Shout out to Nikki. Shout out to Jay Howdy. Thank you for subscribing. I truly appreciate it. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the live stream. Your support means the world to me. Thank you so much for being here. Shout out to James. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to James. Thank you for your support. Shout out to Abigail. Shout out to Lucas. Shout out to Janatul. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Chloe. Shout out to Hunter. Shout out to Brayden. Shout out to Shakai. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Frack. I'm so sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to David. Shout out to Aislinn. Shout out to Kyor. I'm so sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Dangerous. Shout out to Kaylee. Shout out to Eliza. Shout out to Alice. Shout out to Dylan. Shout out to Caesar. Shout out to Samaya. Shout out to Gabriel. Happy birthday. Shout out to Sawyer. Shout out to Liam. Shout out to Rain. Shout out to Omega. Shout out to Aviana. Shout out to Jason. Shout out to Bella. Shout out to Sue. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Nari. Shout out to Jeremiah. Shout out to Autumn. Shout out to Isabella. Shout out to Maverick. Shout out to Jalay or Jaylee. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Marie. Shout out to Anshika. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Kane. Shout out to Shamar. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to Kira. Shout out to Wyatt. Shout out to Ariel. Shout out to Tyler. Shout out to Heaven. Shout out to... Oh, I'm so sorry. The live stream goes really fast sometimes. Shout out to Change. Thank you for your support. Shout out to... Is it Kaimani? I'm so sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Ruby. Shout out to Ishida. Shout out to Cal. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Cal. Thank you for your support. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Eric. Shout out to Jaden. Shout out to Isabella. Shout out to Malia. Shout out to Chloe. Shout out to Kalila or Kalila. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. My background just has little like pink flowers and bows. Shout out to Amber. Thank you for stopping by. Shout out to Brooks. Shout out to Ulysses. Shout out to Leslie. Thank you for your support. Shout out to Yunche. Shout out to Ellie. Shout out to Makund. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Sadie. Shout out to Leo. Shout out to Dawson. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out to Jax. Shout out to Jess. Oh, I already put Jesse. Shout out to Andrea. Shout out to Laura. Shout out to Alila. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Caleb. Shout out to Camden. Shout out to Julian. Shout out to Ethan. Shout out to Ginger. Shout out to Nova. Shout out to Haley. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. Shout out to Bryce. You're welcome. Shout out to Piper. Shout out to Abraham. Shout out to Anivi. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Lakin. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Kenzie. Shout out to these people. On to the next page. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the live stream. I live stream every day around the same time as this. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for your support. I also post other content. I hope you can check out my channel. As some of you know, I do greeting card tutorials. If you're interested, please check out my channel. I would truly appreciate it, especially with Valentine's Day coming up. I do Valentine cards. I hope you can check them out as well. Check out my channel. Shout out to Rihanna. Shout out to Jimena. Shout out to Christopher. Shout out to Angelina. Shout out to Finn. Shout out to Versace. Shout out to Mario. Shout out to Frankie. Shout out to Eric. Shout out to Chloe. Shout out to Stella. Shout out to Nora. Shout out to Luigi. Shout out to Landon. Shout out to Shakay. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Maddie. Shout out to Taylor. Shout out to Rhea. Shout out to Frank. Shout out to Valentina. Shout out to Bowser. Shout out to Brooklyn. Shout out to Charlie. Shout out to Zoe. Shout out to Wario. Shout out to Aubrey. Shout out to Aubrielle. Shout out to Day. I'm so sorry if I haven't gotten to you. Thank you for your patience. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Shelly. Shout out to Jake. Shout out to Leilani. Shout out to Eve. Shout out to Anastasia. Whoopsie, I messed up. Shout out to Adriana. Shout out to Meredith. Shout out to Elias. Shout out to Hazel. Shout out to Bianca. Shout out to Sawyer. Shout out to Kinley. Shout out to Waluigi. Or Luigi. Shout out to Zaxton. Shout out to Deacon. Shout out to Rose. Shout out to Yunche. Shout out to Cole. Shout out to Kaden. Shout out to Vanessa. Shout out to Nehemiah. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Molly. Excuse me. Shout out to Madden. Shout out to Cade. Shout out to Hyacinth. Shout out to Audrey. Shout out to Megan. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Parker. I'm so sorry. Excuse me. Shout out to Layla. Shout out to Rumi. Shout out to Willow. Shout out to Olivia. Shout out to Bobby. Shout out to Kaylin. Shout out to Ava. Shout out to Macy. Shout out to Jory. Shout out to Juliet. Shout out to Shelly. Shout out to Blossom. Shout out to Danielle. Shout out to Jessley. Shout out to Allison. Shout out to Chloe. Shout out to Serenity. Shout out to Peppa. Shout out to Skylar. Shout out to Danielle. Thank you so much. Shout out to Horace. Shout out to Ramsey. Shout out to Tara. Shout out to Alessa. Shout out to Dwayne. Shout out to Caliber. Shout out to Abner. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Excuse me. Thank you for being here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Kaden. Shout out to Chelsea. Shout out to Ivy. Shout out to Jason. Shout out to Courtney. Shout out to Ella. Shout out to George. Shout out to Delilah. Shout out to Aeneas. Shout out to Landon. Shout out to Violet. I'm gonna write your name again because it kind of looks like a U. Shout out to Violet. Shout out to Zavia. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Nayeli. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Casey. Shout out to Hasanat. Shout out to Young Bok. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Renee. Shout out to Zara. Shout out to London. Shout out to Vizel. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Aurora. Shout out to Nate. Thank you. Shout out to Beery. Shout out to Maggie. Shout out to Indy. Shout out to King. Shout out to Casely. Shout out to these people. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. On to the next page. I live stream every day around the same time as this. I hope you can subscribe or check out my channel as well. I post other content. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Also, thank you for your patience. I know I don't write the fastest, so I appreciate you taking the time to write your name. Shout out to, is it Amna Usman? I'm so sorry if I mess up your name. Shout out to Amna Usman. Thank you so much for your support. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Tina. Shout out to Lucy. Shout out to Zane. Shout out to Finn. Shout out to Rosalie. Shout out to Henry. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to Dana. Shout out to Vivian. Shout out to Emmy. Shout out to Jackson. Shout out to Mason. Shout out to Elijah. Shout out to Rosalie. Shout out to Hannah. Shout out to Kinley. Shout out to Jacob. Shout out to Talia. Shout out to Layla. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Khan. Shout out to Quentin. Shout out to Denise. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Janari. Shout out to Raylan. Shout out to Ava. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Javier. Shout out to Xavier. Shout out to Alan. Shout out to Caesar. Shout out to Rizzoli. Shout out to Justin. Shout out to Horace. Shout out to I already put Justin. Shout out to Reese. Shout out to Alexandria. Shout out to Serafina. Shout out to Derek. Shout out to Rimas. Shout out to Suru. Shout out to Grayson. Shout out to Jeffy. Shout out to Leanna. Shout out to Patricia. Shout out to Tristan. Shout out to Tammy. Shout out to Bob. Shout out to Lars. Shout out to Amelia. Shout out to Zamir. Shout out to Joe. Shout out to Kinley. Shout out to Malika. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Kalia. Shout out to Aubrey. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Bella. Shout out to Deanna. Shout out to Marley. Shout out to Tucker. Shout out to Adelie. Shout out to Jacqueline. Shout out to Aubrey. Shout out to Olivia. Shout out to Mal. Shout out to Jason. Shout out to Benjamin. Shout out to Adeline. Shout out to Cece. Shout out to Noah. I'm so sorry if I haven't gotten to you. Thank you so much for your patience. I messed up. Oh no, what was the name? Celia? Did I spell it correctly? Shout out to Landon. Shout out to Katie. Shout out to Owen. Shout out to Evie. Shout out to Celia. I hope I spelled it correctly this time. Shout out to Mark. Oh, oh no. What is it? Markellius? Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Gracie. Shout out to Nevada. Shout out to Jaquay. Shout out to Ava. Shout out to Rafaela. Shout out to Mimi. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. Shout out to JNG. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Jaden. Shout out to Dominic. Shout out to Jody. Shout out to Kristen. Shout out to Thea. Shout out to Kinsley. Shout out to Angel. Shout out to Audrey. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the shout outs. Shout out to Journey. Shout out to Kira or Kyra. Shout out to Jessie. Shout out to Tyler. Shout out to Deja. Shout out to Ben. Shout out to Mason. Shout out to Julian. Shout out to Aria or Araya. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Warren. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Sylvia. Shout out to Layla. Shout out to Kyra, I got you. Or Kira. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Eli. Shout out to Emmanuel. Shout out to Malaysia. Shout out to Rory. Shout out to Lana. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to John. Shout out to Hawk. Shout out to these people. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. On to the next page. I live stream every day around the same time as this. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Valerie. Shout out to Emily. Shout out to Estefano. Shout out to Myra. Shout out to Teddy. Shout out to Noah. Shout out to Mateo. Shout out to Ryan. Whoopsie. Shout out to Race. Shout out to Mateo. Oh, I already put Mateo. Shout out to Milo or Milo. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Annalise. Shout out to Nalani. Shout out to Anna. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Caleb. Shout out to Trinity. Shout out to Angel. Shout out to Rayleigh. Shout out to Lucas. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Crystal. Shout out to Presley. Shout out to Bronx. Shout out to Kendra. Shout out to Cash. Shout out to Alexis. Shout out to Caitlin. Shout out to Hazel. Shout out to Alyssa. Shout out to Elias. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Avery. Shout out to Brianna. Shout out to Larissa. Shout out to Marco. Shout out to Yuvi. Shout out to Lars. Shout out to Elion. Shout out to Araceli. Shout out to Mushta. Shout out to Armando. Shout out to Lucky. Shout out to Kinsley. Shout out to Leonel. Shout out to Paula. Shout out to Donica. Shout out to Ryan. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Roman. Excuse me. Shout out to Kelly. Shout out to Gracie. Shout out to Jalen. Shout out to Tristan. Shout out to Yukina. Shout out to Tiana. Shout out to King. Shout out to Connor. Shout out to Diana. Shout out to Jordan. Shout out to Marceline. Shout out to Aisha, or Aisha. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Cat's Eye. Shout out to Eden. Shout out to Chloe. Shout out to Christopher. Shout out to Luke. Shout out to Briar. Shout out to Ashton. Shout out to Julian. Shout out to Audrey. Shout out to Jaylene. Shout out to Lexi. Shout out to Iker. Shout out to Azalia. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Alina. Shout out to Rosie. Shout out to Megan. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Ivana. Shout out to Alice. Shout out to Adriana. Shout out to Kalila. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Ahana. Shout out to Driana. Happy birthday. Shout out to Addie. Shout out to Enrique. Shout out to Autumn. Shout out to Cora. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to, sorry. Shout out to Aviana. Shout out to Kent. Shout out to Adar. Shout out to Nora. Shout out to Yunche. Shout out to Manaswi. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Maggie. Shout out to Spatino. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Spatino. Thank you for your support. Shout out to Leah. Shout out to Bianca. Shout out to Smudge. Shout out to Darian. Shout out to Mateo. Shout out to Venus. Shout out to Cannon. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Kent. Thank you so much. Shout out to Roshi or Rashi. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Ellie. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Clara or Clara. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Adeline. Shout out to Zer. Shout out to Ray. Shout out to Maverick. Shout out to Jacob. Shout out to Tyra. Shout out to Briley. Shout out to these people. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. On to the next page. I live stream every day around the same time as this. If you're interested, please subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me. Thank you so much for being here and for taking the time to write your name. I know I'm not the fastest writer, so I appreciate you taking the time to be here and write your name and your patience. Thank you, thank you. Shout out to Cody. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Shout out to Cody. Shout out to Elena. Shout out to Joey. Shout out to Emmy. Shout out to Xander. Shout out to Giovanna. Shout out to Collins. Shout out to Rosie. Shout out to Rhea. Shout out to Alice. Shout out to Juliet. Shout out to Gracie. Shout out to Jade. Shout out to Rosemary. Shout out to Diana. Shout out to Regina. Shout out to Elena. Shout out to Mia. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Coco. Shout out to Ephraim. Shout out to Ian. Shout out to Zoe. Shout out to Reagan. Shout out to Alani. Shout out to Joanna. Shout out to Alani. Oh, I already put Alani. Shout out to Avery. Shout out to Aisha or Aisha. Shout out to Lila. Shout out to is it Nolit the Great? Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Luna. Shout out to Yennefer. Shout out to Bianca. Shout out to Leilani. Shout out to Carter. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Addison. Shout out to Azaria. Shout out to Brody. Shout out to Isaiah. Shout out to Amari. Shout out to Shirley. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Rain. Shout out to Nico. Shout out to Sawyer. Shout out to Jose. Shout out to Autumn. Shout out to Fletcher. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Only. Shout out to Aubrey. Shout out to Presley. Shout out to Chase. Shout out to Alina. Shout out to Cassidy. Shout out to Elijah. Shout out to Amand. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Aiden. Shout out to Bonnie. Shout out to Arturo. Shout out to Alyssa. Shout out to Ever. Shout out to Cole the Cherry Bat. Shout out to Millie. Shout out to Lake. Shout out to Maddie. Shout out to Akia or Akaya. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Matt. Shout out to Iola. Shout out to Reagan. Shout out to Jeffy. Shout out to Demi. Shout out to Roger. Shout out to Cameron. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Azari. Shout out to Karen. Shout out to Shakat. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Nolan. Shout out to Nora. Shout out to Eric. Shout out to Justin. Shout out to Mason. Shout out to Amberly. Shout out to Anelli. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Also subscribe to my channel. I would truly appreciate it. Your support means the world to me. Thank you for being here. Shout out to Natalia. Shout out to Paxton. Shout out to Perla. Shout out to Elma. Shout out to Carly. Shout out to Ellen. Thank you. I hope you have a great Valentine's Day as well. Shout out to Abigail. Shout out to Neptunic. Shout out to Yuji. Shout out to Nate Dog. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Patrick. Shout out to Lorenzo. Shout out to Ace. Shout out to Mariah. Shout out to Kat. Shout out to Alan. Shout out to Mason. Shout out to Waleka. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Liam. Shout out to Genevieve. Shout out to Kalila. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Cam. Shout out to Kaisten. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Brayden. Shout out to Victor. Shout out to Ryan. Shout out to Yaraldi. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Shinobu. Shout out to these people. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the live stream. I live stream every day around the same time as this. On to the next page. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to Ava. Shout out to Kamaya. Shout out to Garrett. Shout out to Amani. Shout out to Trayshawn. Shout out to Bridget. Shout out to Aleem. Shout out to Noah. Shout out to Jimena. Thank you for showing me how to pronounce your name. Shout out to Kaisha. Shout out to Jiu. Shout out to Yvette. Shout out to Natalie. Shout out to Angela. Shout out to Mason. Shout out to Noel. Shout out to Nicholas. I don't know if I spelled Nicholas correctly. Shout out to Azaria. Oh yeah, I did. Shout out to Haru. Shout out to Jordan. I'm so sorry if I haven't gotten to you. Shout out to Elijah. Shout out to Leia. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Kaden. Shout out to Griffin. Shout out to Ada or Ida. Shout out to Riley. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Nevaeh. Shout out to Kaylee. Shout out to Scarlett. Shout out to Brantley. Shout out to Veronica. Shout out to Solara. Shout out to Valen. Shout out to Aaron. Shout out to Yusuf. Shout out to Mishi. Shout out to Jessica. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Jessica. Thank you for your support. Shout out to Vincent. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to Jared. Shout out to Xander. Shout out to Eileen. Shout out to Clarabelle. I'm gonna spell your name again because I kind of messed up right there. There we go. Shout out to Rochelle. Shout out to Sky. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to King. Shout out to Kamaya. Shout out to Kay Juan. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Charlotte. Shout out to Colton. Shout out to Isabel. Shout out to Wasky. Shout out to Emily. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Shannon. Sorry if I still mispronounce your name. Shout out to Nahira. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Anthony. Shout out to Glenna. I'm so sorry. It's because the live stream goes sometimes fast and I can't keep up. But thank you for your patience. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Courtney. Shout out to Austin. Shout out to England Evans. Shout out to Jaden. Shout out to Lucine. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Antonella. Shout out to Nyla. Shout out to Real Irony. Shout out to Albert. Shout out to Jedediah. Shout out to Rowan. Shout out to Madison. Shout out to Gabby. Shout out to Aaron. Shout out to Juliet. Shout out to Lila. Shout out to Sabina. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Juliet, I got you. Shout out to Amanda. Shout out to Wyatt. Shout out to Bella. Shout out to Violet. Shout out to Olivia. Shout out to Nichols. Thank you everyone for your patience. Shout out to Iva. Shout out to Rylan. Shout out to Izzy. Shout out to Eliana. Shout out to Thierno. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Gianna. Shout out to Casey. Shout out to Ariana. Shout out to Novell. Shout out to Nevaeh. Shout out to Armani. Shout out to Justice. Shout out to Danae. Shout out to, I'm gonna write Danae again because I messed up right there. Shout out to Novi. Shout out to Kaden. Shout out to Amari. Shout out to Reese. Shout out to Florence. Shout out to Harper. Give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back. I'm so sorry. One of my family members is throwing up and I'm helping. If you want to stay a little bit, I'll try to come back in like 1 minute or 2 minutes. Let me just write the last names, and I think this will be the last page because they're still throwing up. I'm so sorry. Shout out to Victoria. Shout out to Henry. Shout out to Maswood. I'm so sorry. Shout out to Gerard. Shout out to Erica. Shout out to Malia. Shout out to Mauro. Shout out to Alana. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so sorry I have to cut the live stream short. My family member is still throwing up and I'm going to help them out. But thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. And I will see you all next time. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the live stream. And I'm so sorry, but thank you for your patience. I will see you all next time. Take care. Thank you, Stephanie. See you all next time. Take care.